So the big book tells us that before we do step 6, that we go home or somewhere, that we take the AA book off the shelf, that we ask ourselves, is our foundation sure? Is it secure? Is it solid? What would make it not solid? Well, if I'm not surrendered, if I really don't believe my addiction is more powerful than me, if I really am not trusting in a higher power or God versus trusting myself, if I'm not willing to turn over my whole life to God, then yeah, it's all going to fall apart. But if I do this effectively and quickly, I'll be in that state where I'm so devastated I'll do anything. So if you can do that, then when you get to step 6, where you're actually becoming entirely ready to have God remove these defects of character, who's not going to be ready? You just confess them just minutes ago. And so, yeah, people say, yeah, I'm ready. I don't want to hold anything back. Then step 7, which I'm combining with this, is that I now, and in the early days it says on your knees, but it's like humbly ask God to remove these defects of character. That's as simple as it is. And there is a 7th step prayer, but it's basically, God, please remove this control and help me, grant me acceptance. Help me to be flexible rather than so rigid. Help me to be forgiving rather than so unforgiving. Help me to be courageous rather than so frightened. Help me to have just the right level of sensitivity. Help me to let go rather than control everything in a 5-mile radius. People go, well, that's too simple. Now I got to go psychologically work on that. No, if I do that, then I basically said, I just prayed to the God of the universe who has all power. And it says I just need to stay close to him and ask him for these things, and he'll start granting them to me. So I'm not saying there's no work involved, but I think if we start working with a white-knuckling approach, we'll be very frustrated. And God gives grace to the humble, but he's opposed to the proud. So grace is this power, and that's why a 12-stepper will say, by the grace of God, I'm 10 years sober. So if I just humbly ask him for these things every day, and step 7 is an event, but you'll later find out in step 10 and 11, it's something we ask for every day.